I think a great product is really like delight users. It brings the value to users. It's not like something we have the passion as product people want to build it. It's the something that because the customers and users, they really need that in their life to solve their problem. But also we want to have the product, not just for the customer, but also for the company. So it must be unique.
Product and data. We cannot build product without data. Hence, we're dedicating an entire episode to talk about product management and data. And today we have Karen Hsieh. She is currently the Director of Product and Data at Alpha Camp in Taiwan. She has a fascinating career. She started in Yahoo many years ago. Then she worked in HTC, Asus, KKBox, and now in Alpha Camp. Basically, she has a mission to build data literacy across product teams. In today's episode, we deep dive into what does it mean to have a great product that is data informed. How is it that we work with the data science team? How about data integrity? And more importantly, what does great product mean?
The reality is, fintech is not that sexy. It is hard work, but it is super fun and fulfilling. Why? Because most of us are in a vulnerable financial position and suffer from money stress. So our job as fintechers is to come up with solutions. Welcome to Fintech Product, the place to be for career advice for women in fintech. I am Moni, and I've built a career building digital banks from scratch, both in the UK and Southeast Asia. I strongly believe in togetherness, and I'm here to open up, share, and bring fintech product and leadership experts together so that you don't have to start from scratch to thrive in your career in fintech. I'm Mexican-British living in Asia, and I'm recognized as Singapore 65 fintech product leaders and women in fintech.
Hi, Karen. It is a pleasure having you in the show. I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Yes, me too. Me too. So glad to, this is the first podcast I have. I'm so excited.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Amazing news. So given you have an amazing experience when it comes to product. You started in Yahoo. You've been like in the product arena for so many years. So I want to start the conversation with what is your definition of this is a great product?
Okay. So I think a great product is really like delight users. It brings the value to users. It's not like something we have the passion as product people want to build it. It's the something that because the customers and users, they really need that in their life to solve their problem or like make them enjoyable in it. But also we want to have the product, not just for the customer, but also for the company. So it must be unique, like something it should build a mod for the company. And it should be unique. It's for the customer. It's not just a app or a website. It's a style like Notion. It's a style for people who like to take in notes, thinking in a structured way. Like a photo is a very delight user. It can delight user in a great way. Like it reminds me like 10 years since today and make me feel happy when I see it. So I think these 3 points are very important to be a great product.
So give me an example with which product you're like, this is a good product.
So I mentioned Notion and Google Photo. These 2 things are I feel they are a good product to me because they have the connection to the user. It's not just a photo app to me or not just a note-taking app to me. I can feel the people who behind the product or the other customers who are using this product are the connection with me and know what I want to look into. And even they provide something I didn't think about.
Yes.
Okay, so improve mine. Yeah. So that's the great product. It's unique and think for the users and it delights me. So I think these 2 are great product. And the other things, like I would say like DBT is a great product. Like it's not the first data transfer tool that ever been built, but the people, the community around that product, we are so like connect with others. We have the same pain and the product, the DBT really want to solve the pain with us. So yes. I really like this kind of phenomenon when I'm doing product or using the product.
Yes, and I think you have a great point when it comes to Notion. Like, I love Notion. Like, my whole life runs in Notion by now. And I only found out about Notion maybe 6, 9 months ago. But that type of level of, it's not that it's dependency, but yeah, Notion now it's part of my life. That makes it a great product. It's not just a note-taking app. It's like
Yeah.
my life is structured in Notion. My ideas, my journals, my everything is in there. So that
Yes,
makes
me too.
exactly it's a connection, kind of.
Yes.
Yes.
And you probably tried a lot of different note apps.
Many. Yeah. But Notion had my heart. So how did you get into product then? Because
Okay.
you've been in product a very long time. What's your story?
So when I first joined product, I guess that was when I was a associate producer in Yahoo. So we don't even have a product manager at that time, like about 20 years ago things. Yeah. So, but I think the product means we at the first it's something that we build and maintain the website works fine. Say when I'm Yahoo, so I'm responsible for the front page. But then I realized that this is the product, like when we see people using our front page as their protocol into the internet. And it's kind of like imagining that, okay, that's part of people's life. And the other thing is I have tried, because that's my first job. So I'm not sure if I want to stick with it in my 20 years or 30 years. So I try other jobs. I try other jobs in server companies, since it's very popular in Taiwan more than software actually. So I do try to work in a hardware company, and I do try to work like other job. But then I realized I like this kind of passion and this kind of connection with the users, and it's more directly in software. So that's why I stay here.
Awesome. And what do you do currently? Because it's a 20-year career, but now you do cool data stuff. So what's your data and product role today?
So now I'm a product data in AlphaCam. So AlphaCam is a very unique company I have ever joined. So we do online course for people who has no background, but they want to them into software engineers. So we help them online, but we're unlike the course programming platform, only put this content online so people can read or view it. It's a lot of free content right now. So the product in AlphaCam is the experience, the same thing, like the experience for the users. And my team is responsible for the technology part. So we build for the Lighthouse. We call it Lighthouse. It's the learning management platform for all the users. But actually our product is the environments that keep users have their motivation and keeping them learning and level up until they get a job in a software industry. And for the data part, I would say AlphaCam is very unique because it already had a data informed culture before I joined, before the first data team has built. They look data and see these numbers about users master, if their users master their program, if users are feeling well in their program, and if they have any struggle or how they move, if the motivation still keeps up. It's not just like a conversation, though we do have a lot, but they view things in a number and view things has the overview to look into it. So our data team's job is to help them get more efficiency and inspire them to have different view to analyze these users' behavior, and also to find is there any connection between different behavior that we can do some experiments. So the first thing still is to have this ELT pipeline, get all these data aligned. That's the first step. Yeah.
For anyone who's not familiar with the term, what does ELT mean?
Yeah, so ELT means extract, load, and transfer. So before the modern data state, people used to have ETL, means because the cloud computing and storage is very expensive, was expensive before. So they need to transfer the data and make sure we only store and compute the valuable data in cloud. But now the computing and cloud is very cheap. I would say, yeah, it's very powerful. So we can upload every data we want, and then we do the transfer on cloud. So that's ETL. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yes, because acronyms acronyms are important. Cool.
Yes, yes.
So you cover a lot, like us. You do not cover only traditional products, but you properly cover data. You're kind of like half data science, half product.
Because a lot of people is the one most eager to data. We want to know how the data, does the data really bring value, or is there anyone use it? Is the feature we provide, we just release, does it adopt by the users? Does user really know how to use it? Or what kind of user? I mean, maybe there are different segments in our users. What kind of users do use like particular features or find things in a particular way? And that's something that we also want to know, so we know which feature or what kind of users are more valuable to us. Then we can like optimize on it. So product people is usually very data driven, and they really need to look into data. But as a product manager, like I was before, it's very hard to communicate this kind of reporting with a data engineer or backend engineer when there was no data team, because engineer, they may not understand the business logic quite well. And sometimes that's because product manager cannot explain the business logic very well in a data sense. Yeah. So two kind of people, we are in like different world, and we try to communicate with each other, and the gap was large. So say, for example, sometimes I define my request and the data engineer understood my request and gave me the numbers. Then I found, the numbers.
No, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but the calculation is correct. The way he can show me like how he get the number and what the calculation he did, that's all correct.
So in that case, the challenge is for product managers to understand which data they want and what is it for, rather than doing only the calculation.
Yes. And sometimes there are many details. Say, for example, if I say I want a unique user, but what's the definition of the unique user?
What's definition of unique? Yes.
Yeah, so I cannot imagine that was a very complicated problem in an engineering perspective. But I would say, what's that? I don't understand. What is that difficult? Because I can see the unique number in GA like every day. I didn't know why. I didn't know how to do the things behind the numbers. So I realized that as a product manager, I need to get involved. I need to understand more so I can get this conversation more easier. And the other thing, of course, that engineer has a lot of things to do. If I can do part of self-service, especially when I'm doing the report and want to understand the numbers, I actually do a lot of thinking in my mind. But if the thinking need to be ways, like I want this number and apply for a ticket, and the ticket will be accepted after a week and give me back the number another week.
It's a bit late.
Yeah, my thinking is dropped. So I don't know how to like understand the whole picture. But if I can try and error, then I can know and get a sense about what the things I'm manipulating with. Yes. So that's why I do want to learn about data. And it really took me months, even like years, to understand how to, what's the best tool. Say, for example, I didn't know SQL before, and I did a lot of spreadsheet things, like probably months, and very struggle. And then my engineer lead, he found what I'm doing, and he just teach me like SQL can save your life. And then he told me DBT can save your life again. So, I had no clue at the beginning.
Yes, exactly. And then just like everyone, like you just like get into it and then start learning little by little. Yes. So what do you think is the future of data and product?
Yeah. So that's my imagination. I think people would be more data driven or data informed at least in the future. So they would all like to, like everyone want to look into the facts. And the level of self-service would be better for now, just like everyone know how to use spreadsheet. I think probably everyone know how to use, how to use BI tool or even SQL. And I think as product, since we need to know the behavior and the facts, so we need to understand data. I mean, the data would be different kind of data. One is the quality data that, for example, we do user interview, we do survey, we gather a lot of unstructured data.
Yes.
There are still data. Yeah. And the other thing is something people might be more easier to imagine. There are quantity data, like the behavior log or the order numbers, the revenue numbers, things like that. So these are all the facts help us to understand is our user, they are really using our product, how they use it. Because sometimes if you only have user interview, people may tell you the truth, they are not lying, but they cannot say your product is bad in front of you, right?
No. It has limitations.
Yes. So you have to have different kind of like quality and quantity data together, then you can see the whole picture. And not only for the customer side, you also need to know like how drive what things drive the growth of this company. Is that because the orders? Is that because of the retention? Is that because of new users? That's also important.
Yes, very important. So how it sounds like data is critical in the day-to-day of a product manager. How do you create a culture that is like data-driven culture if the companies are not currently in that stage?
Well, I would say that's very difficult. I'm so lucky to be here already data informed. It must be something top down. I mean, especially in startup, the culture is driven by the founders, like 80%, I would say.
Yeah.
So it must be top down. And though it will be very hard by an employee who want to influence the culture. And it also will take a lot of time. So if the founder has this kind of sense and he wants to do things like that, and the first thing I would say is to point out the facts, like what's the level of data literacy we are right now. Say, for example, if I say when a team are talking about revenue, say marketing team, you may sense though there's the same metric revenue, it could be different from marketing team and finance team. So yes, in this situation, you can sense the data literacy in the company. So the first thing I did last year is actually the same. I'm trying to align all the
teams and the definitions.
Yes. So people would understand a little bit about what's the different, why they're different, or even, oh, they are different,
Exactly. Yeah,
that's the way.
That exactly. It's like sense checking. Where are we? I hadn't thought about data literacy metric as such. That's brilliant. Yeah, it's brilliant. And talking about, because that's something measurable, but it's like you're measuring the capabilities of your team as such. Yes. And then, and data is super important. And probably I think that may be one of the gaps in many product teams as well.
Yes. The way is actually the same when we are doing product. We want to see the facts, what's the level right now, so we know what's the opportunity and where we can improve.
Yes, definitely. So just a few minutes ago, you were talking about the founder and the founder influencing culture. How do you attract and retain like great product people? That is part of culture, but it's not a straightforward thing to do. So I would love to hear your views.
Okay, I would want to know what's the path they plan. I mean, there's a different personality or different background of different product manager. I mean, there's no, probably some program right now, but like before, there's no college program or course like helping people to become a product manager. There's so many different. So some people may come from business, some people come from customer care, designers, engineers. They all have different strengths. And I want to know what's their plan for their career. They may not have one actually, but they would know what's their strengths and weakness, or what kind of role model or what kind of product they want to work on. Then I will see if I can help them. If our company's mission and the path of our company, does it align with that product manager? What can we do to help them or get aligned different like personal mission and company mission so we can all grow together? I think that's the best way to do that, because I would assume that every product manager wants to build something that is impactful and meaningful. They don't do things, just like, oh, that's just my job and I need to do that to earn the life. Yeah. So most of the product manager, they are very meaning
passionate.
and
Yes, and meaning, passion and meaning driven. I agree with you.
Yes.
So how do you, no, I guess like what I'm trying to ask is, what are the qualities of a great product manager then? One of them we said like passion, passion and meaning. Yeah.
And the other would be like curiosity and care. I mean, care the users, care the product is a effort that everyone put in, not just product manager or engineers, like the company, everyone put in to present the value to the user. So they must be cared. It's not just like, I done this project, I released this feature and it's done. It's a like marathon, has no end that you need to keep moving on. So I think they need to be care about who are using this feature, this product, and why we want to do it. What's our mission? What's the goal we want to bring the users? So they must be care about this like people connection things. And they need to be very curious who are using these things? What kind of value we want to bring? What's the goal? What's the angle? What's the mission we are going? So they need to be asked a lot of questions, keep curious about these things, so they have this motivation and passions going on.
I love it. It's like you kind of nailed it. It's like, yes, you need to have to be a good product person. It's like curiosity is so important. The passion, keep asking the questions, and then be kind of, the right word is not obsessed, but because obsessions are kind of to the extreme, right? But like be heavily invested in what you're doing. Yeah.
Yes.
So as we wrap up the episode, what's your take? Is product an art or a science?
I would say it's an art more than science, but it's an art like built by science.
Art built by science. That's a new definition.
Yeah, because there's a lot of like framework or methodology for product nowadays, and it really help, and you can analyze things or thinking product in a framework. So it's something that you can pass on and keep improve this methodology. So it's kind of like a science, but you do need to care about the people, the spirits of the product that you want to bring. So I would say that's part of the art part, and it should be more important than the science part.
Definitely. You do need to care. And like you said, you need to use certain methods or methodologies, which then takes me to the very last question. That is, which are your top 2 methodologies for product development?
So I'm the fan of Marty Cargan and Teresa Torrey. I enrolled a course about continuous discovery. So I think that's the best method. And because I was having this kind of confusion, like we release a lot of feature and it sounds correct to me we know the reason why we're doing this. But after we're done, I'm kind of lost, like missing something, and this puzzle didn't bring together. So that's when I have this kind of confusion. Then I found out Marty Kagan, his speech about product is hard. And I realized, oh, there's a lot of framework. When I wasn't a product manager at Yahoo, he is already publishing all these articles and this framework for like more than 20 years.
Yes.
The wisdom is so inspired. And the framework is actually like talking to the people, connecting with the customer, understanding why we want to do and what they want, and also balance these customers with the companies about the product vision, the company's vision. So I think that's the realistic way to do the product. It's not just, oh, I'm a product manager, I have the passion, I assume I'm the users. After I do have some user interview, then I realize there's a lot of different type of users. When I assume I'm a user, I'm just one type, very limited type of user.
Yes, definitely. Awesome. Well, it's been fantastic having you in the show, Karen. Probably more questions will come up as we re-listen to the episode. So where can we find you?
I'm active on LinkedIn, or I'm also in the DBT Slate community. Yeah, you can find me both there or Twitter as well.
Perfect. We will add all of your socials in the description. It's been an absolute pleasure. And then everyone, see you next week. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hello again. It's been an absolute pleasure. I learned tons from this conversation, and hopefully you gained some insights, knowledge, or inspiration. It could mean the world if you follow, share, and rate the show, because it gives me feedback. And remember, if you have fintech, product, career, or life direction questions, reach out. I'm always happy to help. Go to my LinkedIn page, Monica Millares, and send me a connection request, DM me, and book time for a free mentoring session. See you next week. Ciao, ciao.